Today I want to talk about a few actionable ways that we can look and feel younger longer. Now, what I'm talking about today is bone loss, and it's really an important topic, especially as we are mid-40s, 50s, and beyond, because as most of us know, not only are our muscles atrophying but in our face, but also we're losing fat and we have bone loss that occurs in our face and throughout our body as we get older, especially at this point if you are 45 and older. Now, are there ways that we can actually reverse that? Are there ways that we can slow that down so that that aging process that is literally the foundation of our face can be slowed down? Yes, there are. I'm going to share with you 3 or 4 ways today that you can take action that will help you to stay younger longer when it comes to your bone health. Huge. So important. There is no cream that we can put on. There is no surgery that we can have. There is no treatment that we can do that can improve our bones like some of the things that we're going to talk about today. Now, if you're new here, my name is Penny. I'm a master esthetician. We do all kinds of skincare procedures. We talk about products. We do ingredient education on this channel. And this year I am focusing quite a bit on wellness, especially as it relates to aesthetics. So if that sounds good to you, I really hope that you will subscribe before you go. Okay, so here's some tips. Number 1 is to get magnesium into your diet or supplement it with it, or both. Now, that may sound like whatever. It's so important. It is beyond important. And I will tell you why. Magnesium, there's studies out now that show that high blood levels of magnesium are related to bone health. And what happens is when we are young, we actually are, we're losing bone and we're putting more bone down, and we're losing bone and putting more down. It's this constant process, just like with our skin. We're constantly turning over bone and creating new, just like with our skin cells. We're constantly shedding off old and creating new our entire life. It's the same with bone. Now, our bone is obviously comprised of minerals and it's comprised of protein and all of these things. So what magnesium does for our bones is high blood levels of magnesium actually helps us in our older years to keep up with the bone loss. So as we age, just like with everything, we are getting rid of more bone than we are replacing, especially for those of us women who are in peri and menopause and postmenopause. Unfortunately, with the decrease in estrogen, we are losing more bone than we are replacing. It is just a fact. Now, magnesium in high levels in our blood can actually reverse that. We can actually create more bone than we get rid of. So what is a high level of magnesium? Well, when it comes to bone health, it is 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium a day. Now, if you can get that from your food, that's fantastic. And I am going to put up on the screen some magnesium-rich foods that you can get into your diet, because that is obviously the best way to get magnesium inside. Now, I love chia seeds. They're a great source of magnesium. I will put them into a yogurt. I actually just had it. This is gross, but I just had it for breakfast today. Last night, I put a couple scoops of chia seeds into a plain Greek yogurt, which is packed with protein, mixed it up, put it back in the fridge so that I had it for this morning, threw some blueberries, drizzled a little honey, and that was my breakfast late morning this morning. Now, that is an excellent source of protein and magnesium. And it's one of the ways that I ensure that I'm getting some magnesium on board. Now, to consciously, use your diet to get magnesium, that's the tip. It sounds like it's really basic, but I'm telling you, the research is so clear, the association of magnesium with bone health. Now, if you feel like you can't get enough magnesium to get that 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium in per day, then you can supplement with it. That is what I do. I just want to make sure that I am getting enough magnesium, and I want those higher blood levels of magnesium in order to ensure this bone situation. I prefer liposomal magnesium, and I have been taking Symbiotica as well as Live on Labs forever. Now, a little tip that I want to give you about magnesium that I just learned recently is that you want to look at the actual milligrams on the back of magnesium. These packets all say 1,000 milligrams or whatever magnesium. That's not the number we care about. The number is in the nutrition information on the back, and it's usually 77 when it comes to Live On, and it's 94 when it comes to Symbiotica. That's the number you want to look at, because you want 400 of that number per day, whether it is from your food and you add that up and you just supplement with something, or you get it all from your food, which would be fantastic. Never by just supplementing. You want to get some in your food, but somehow you want to get 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day. Now, the reason why I do love the liposomal magnesium is because if you're not familiar with what liposomal is, it is an encapsulation system, delivery system, so that when you take the vitamin or mineral, it actually can make it past your gastric juices that are literally there to chew up and devour things before they move on. If you take it in a liposomal form, there is a much better likelihood that it actually gets into your blood, which is where it can affect so much change for us when it comes to bone health. Now, of course, magnesium has other benefits like better sleep, which means we're going to look better. I'm sorry, but if you've ever looked at yourself when you're really, really tired, I don't know about you, but I look absolutely like crap when I'm tired. Magnesium is going to help with your sleep. Now, this is not about bone loss there, but this is about improving your circadian rhythm, and it also increases your natural melatonin, which means you're going to just get a better night's sleep. You're going to stay asleep. You're going to get a better, more restful sleep, which means you're going to look and feel better, which means that maybe you'll go to the gym and lift some weights, which is also good for your bones. Total side note. Okay, so that's my first tip, is to get magnesium on board. And I mean, I cannot emphasize that enough. It really is a pretty simple way to ensure that you slow down that bone loss. Let's slow it down as much as we possibly can. Tip number 2, vitamin D3 and K2. Now, this is super important to our bone health, like integral to our bone health. D3 is important for the calcium in our bloodstream. K2 is important for getting that calcium from our bloodstream into our bones. So you want those two together. I actually take my D3 plus K2 in a melt away tab. This is not sponsored by any of these things. These are just the things that I have weeded through until I found what worked for me. You got to find what works for you. Talk to your doctor. I'm not a nutritionist, all of these caveats. But what works for me is these melt away little tablets. They're called Easy Melts. I literally order mine on Amazon. I'm sure they also have a website, but what I like about them is, number one, they have D3 and K2 put together in the right proportion. It's 5,000 IUs of D3, and it's like 120 milligrams or whatever of the K2, which is the appropriate proportion of each of those vitamins. I take a few of those every single day. I am totally okay getting 10 or 15,000 milligrams of vitamin D3 into my system. I feel it helps me with my energy. I know it's fantastic for my skin. I know it's great for my bones. I mean, there are just so many reasons why vitamin D3 is really, really good for you. Great for collagen production. I mean, everything. And so that is definitely my tip number 2. But the other thing is, magnesium is really, really important for D3 and K2. So you really want to combine these things. You want to make sure you're getting all your magnesium and your D3 and your K2. Really, really important. Tip number 3 is about vitamin C. Now, I know that people have different viewpoints about ingesting vitamin C. I am 100% team vitamin C. Now, vitamin C in liposomal form, in my opinion, is a fantastic way to supplement with the vitamin. Again, what they've done is they've taken and encapsulated a water-soluble vitamin in a lipid so that it can actually get past your stomach and get into your bloodstream and do all kinds of great things. What does vitamin C do when you take it? Well, it can help with the hydration of your skin. It can help with the production of something called glycosaminoglycans, hyaluronic acid, and the like, so that our skin is naturally more hydrated. As we age, we produce less of those, so we are going to end up looking a little bit more plump and juicy than we might if we are lacking in vitamin C. The other thing that vitamin C is integral is in the production of collagen. Collagen is a protein that is very, very important to our bones. Not only is it important to our skin, but it's important to our bones. So getting vitamin C is like laying down fertilizer so that when we do things that will improve our bones, we have the best opportunity to do that. When we do things where we're trying to improve collagen, like microneedling or RF treatments or anything where we're trying to stimulate collagen, vitamin C inside is super duper important so that we can actually make that collagen. There are lots of other things that are really, really important to have going on inside so that we have the most beneficial collagen production when we're trying to induce collagen, like with microneedling. But vitamin C is super, super important to not only collagen, but ultimately also to our bones. So I'm going to share in the description box a book that I have read that really, really impacted me about vitamin C. It's called Primal Panacea. I know I'm probably pronouncing that second word wrong, but it's a really great book, you guys. And I found it to be incredibly inspiring about vitamin C. Once I read that book and then I listened to the author, who is a doctor, a little bit more, I really, vitamin C is a non-negotiable, just like magnesium and vitamin D3 and K2. And the cool thing about liposomal vitamins is they're really pretty easy to take. I mean, when it comes to the vitamin C, I take Symbiotica or Live On Labs. One of them, the Live On, I put into some water and I shoot it. The Symbiotica needs no water. I just take it. And, you know, both of them are non-GMO. They are, they to me, are some of the cleanest of the liposomal vitamins as far as I am concerned. Okay, the fourth and final tip is for you ladies out there, and that is to talk to a trusted healthcare provider about estrogen. Now, this is going to be a controversial topic, but the more that I learn and unlearn about estrogen, the more that I realize how much we have been misled by an industry about estrogen and how much we need to unlearn about it. If you are over 35, you should start talking to a healthcare provider who knows something about menopause, who knows something about hormones. Talk to them about estrogen. We have estrogen receptors everywhere in our skin, our heart, in our bones. We have them everywhere. And at a certain point, ladies, we make no more estrogen. And I can tell you that there is a massive health impact, a massive aesthetic impact on that lack of estrogen. So the tip is to research it a little bit more. I'm going to also link a book in the description box called Estrogen Matters. And it's a phenomenal book. And I think that every woman should read this book. I think we all need a collective unlearning of what we have learned about estrogen. However, I will say it's a conversation for you and a trusted healthcare provider, as long as you know that that healthcare provider knows what they're talking about. Because unfortunately, the reality is a lot of doctors are not being trained adequately on hormones, hormone replacement, menopause. It's just not a priority. And so you need to find a doctor that you trust, that knows and cares about hormones and menopause. And it could be a project for you. It could be a project. I'm on a mission this year to find some experts to share information with you on this channel. I've been asked so many times to share relevant information about those of us in our 50s, 60s, 70s. This is the year. We're doing it this year. I will have those people on this channel. I'm passionate about it. I'm here with you at that age, and it's important. It's super important information. And the thing about the estrogen is that it will affect your bones. The lack or the abundance of it, or, you know, at least the amount that you're supposed to have, it can affect your skin. It can affect your heart health. It can affect your brain, all of it. So the tip is start researching it. Don't wait until you know, research it and talk to your doctor about it, because it's super important. And tune into this channel, because we're going to talk about it a lot this year, because it is incredibly important. Those are my tips for bone loss and for how we can avoid it at all costs. And, you know, going into our later years is certainly not just about aesthetics. In fact, that's kind of a side benefit. It is about our health and about staying well and staying upright and being strong and being capable. And the, you know, side benefit, like I said, is aesthetically, we can stay looking a little bit younger, and we can keep our foundation intact as long as possible. I hope that you learned something today. I hope that this video was helpful. Leave me down in the comments section any tips that you have on bone health, and we can collectively share information and share tips so that we can all be better as we enter into these, you know, menopausal era, if you will, in my case. And if you're only in your 30s, this is information you need to be thinking about and taking into consideration, because I never could imagine myself broaching 50 20 years ago. It just wasn't, you know, it wasn't in my realm yet. And if I could speak to you as a younger woman, especially, there is no time like the present to start taking care of some of these things health-wise, so that when you get to my spot, you are prepared for what is coming. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a really great day. I hope this video was helpful, and I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.